this. So now we are recording this, and we're going to put it all over the place. We're going to put it on YouTube, all that other good stuff. Today we got another special guest coming to us all the way from my home state, Michigan. And he does a lot of gaming. We're going to talk to him about that and see what he's like. Ask him some questions. Hopefully this thing's working. Hopefully everything's working. Who knows? Who knows what's working in this crazy world? Welcome to Wheelchair Wednesday.
Rick, I'm getting okay.
Wait, here he is. Everybody, let's welcome Matt from Guerrilla Gaming. What up, man?
Let's go, baby.
What's happening with you?
Let's go. I've got to hold on. Let me. I got to get rid of some of these. Hold on. Okay.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think I got my shares out and everything. It's all good, man. I was getting a little echo, kind of like your problem you had going on there the other day with your shit.
Never
What's good,
stops. Man? It never stops.
Never stops.
The
never
audio
stops,
problems,
man. Never stops.
Dude, the visual problems. See, I told you, I was like, everything should go great, right?
I know.
Until I hit that go live button. Now we're on live on Facebook.
Bro, so, I do test runs. I do test streams. I'll do a test stream, go right through it, and be like, "Oh, that sounds great. It looks great. Everything's great."
Yep.
Boom. Right after, everything's good. Bam. I got my mod going.
Wonky.
Yo, man, no audio. I'm like, fuck, what? No. Come on, man.
Yep. Well,
every day.
You know what? We're on Facebook. It worked. Cheers to you, my friend.
Hey, cheers, bro.
You know, man.
Got shooters over here, so I ain't going.
We've already been talking for a little bit, but
yeah.
I'm going to let Matt here go ahead. The first question, obviously, is to introduce yourself, tell people about who you are, where you're from, and your level of injury. We'll go from there. Go ahead.
Sure, man. All right. Matt Zeman, all right, a.k.a. GriilaWar Gaming. If you guys aren't following that, follow it now on Facebook Gaming and TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, everything. GriilaWar Gaming.
We'll put the stuff in the description after we get offline.
Yeah, we goddamn right we will.
Yep.
I was
like, you damn right.
Gotta get my plugs in. So yeah, I was athletic dude, 30 years old, went up north Houghton Lake. We're from Michigan, so I know you know Houghton Lake up there. Mm-hmm. There's Higgins Lake, Houghton Lake. Houghton Lake is a shallow lake. Didn't really know that at the time, really didn't care about that at the time. But I went up for my buddies, me and a friend went up to our best friend's bachelor party, and got there like 5 o'clock and, cooked up some dinner for everyone on the grill. It's hot as hell out. And, like I said, Higgins Lake is shallow. And, we got this lake house, beautiful, fits like 15 people. Big old dock that goes out like 30 yards out into the lake. Like you're talking straight up, because you couldn't just walk out into the lake. It had like those wave breaks where I got that 8-foot like cement wall kind of on a slant. And so you couldn't just like walk out on the beach or whatever. And the water was murky or whatever. And so you access the water by going off the dock. I mean, there were stairs and everything. I got done cooking for everyone. And man, I mean, I'd love to say I was wasted and like made it this was all like a calculated risk in my head. And that's what like really bothers me, is that got done like cooking for everyone. I'm like, oh man, and I like the bachelor at the place, I like went down by the picnic table next to the water. I'm like, ooh man, I'm hot as hell. How deep you think it is at the end of that dock? I don't know, 4 or 5 feet. And we were already out there like smoking a joint or something like an hour before. It was like you couldn't see the bottom. It was murky, but I mean it was like 1.5 feet, 2 feet at the wall. So you're thinking 30 yards out, you got like 4.5, 5 feet. I don't know, shit around there. You can't see the bottom.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I'm thinking, man. I'm gonna go take a quick swim. Drop down to my skibbies and I like run, down the dock. And like this is a very, very important part of this story, is there was a guy there named Clint, and he is an avid fisherman. Like he's practically a pro fisherman by now. But when we pulled up to the party, Clint brought his boat, and he's like a serious fisherman. So it's like a bass fishing boat, 2-seater, right. And I'm like, oh, Clint brought his boat. Cool. There's 15 of us up here. Like, guess what he's doing? You know what I mean? Like, he He's just up here for the fishing. He doesn't give a shit about that. And so we were making fun of Clint fishing the entire time, like while we were there. And sure as shit, I'm like in my boxes, I'm running. Clint's like halfway down the dock, just zipping lines in the water. And I'm like, oh, kind of gave him like the little shake, like coming through, boy, And he was a big guy too, which is important because I was like the big guy there. He was like, me and him were about the same size. I might have been a little taller. I dive off the dock, and man, as soon as I hit, like, and I didn't pencil drop dive. I mean, I'm not dumb. I say that, but I was dumb. But I mean, I wasn't like I love diving, man, and it's not like I'm no rookie to diving. Just out flat dive, nothing. As soon as I hit, bro, it was like, and like, imagine instant trauma. I've had my
I
teeth
hate
blown
these
out.
first stories because some of them I can just feel, and I'm like,
I know. Yeah. Like that, it like hit, and people always like, man, you remembered all this stuff. I'm like, as soon as I hit, it was like, what? Oh man, I just did in my mind,
messed up,
like
right?
all these thoughts. I spin them out. I'm like, I just did what you're not supposed to do. What your parents like yell at you about. What everyone tells you not to do your whole life is dive in shallow water. And I just did that. Man, my girlfriend's gonna be pissed. My parents are gonna be pissed. Holy shit, I'm gonna be in a wheelchair. It's okay. I can get through this. Tiff's gonna leave me. Maybe she will, but you know what? I'm gonna be one of those strong dudes
Start
that's just like,
apologizing to everybody.
yeah, dude.
You're
I'm like
oh, yeah,
everything's going through my head. Yeah, it's all going through my head, and like all in this like time that I'm like underwater, and I'm like trying to grasp some air,
right?
Because I could see the sun, but I couldn't and it looked like it was just like an inch above my face, but I couldn't lift my head, couldn't lift my arms, couldn't do anything, and I was like, I remember just thinking all that shit, and I mean like, oh man, I need to quit like squirming around. I need to quit. I'm losing my. Clint had to have seen me. He had to have seen me jump, and like, I mean, he's got to come get me. Like he has to know that I'm like in distress, right?
Oh,
Like he
so
know
you're just laying like in the water, under the
so
water.
I was flapping, and then I was like, okay, come on, man, just hold your breath. Clint's gonna get you.
Oh god.
And then everything, I waited, everything went white, and then I woke up on the dock, and I had like all my friends over top of me, just like, don't move, oh Z, don't move. My friends call me Z, like
Right.
don't move, don't move, don't move. And I'm like, of course, I'm like trying to move, but I mean, I wasn't going anywhere, And so story goes, I went and I jumped off there. In my mind, I was kind of doing a dead man's float, trying to do one of these and like turn my head, and I couldn't. Talk to Clint later. He's like, no, you dove, and everything was fine. Didn't think anything of it. You were fluttering a little bit, and I thought you were just kind of like, because you're on your back, and you were just kind of doing one of these. And I thought you were just kind of, but then it started like, the water, the waves were bringing me in towards his like fishing line. And he's like, yo, Zeke, all right, man, cool. Cause I'm like, he's like, all right, man, yeah, come on, bro. All right, joke's over, man. And then he's like, and then yeah. So then my shit just went, and I was sunk. He's like, I saw you sink down, dude. I threw all my shit off, jumped in, and he like lifted me up, got me out. They did some CPR. My friends did some CPR on me. Bam.
Brought you back.
Airlifted to Munson in Traverse City. Did 11 days there. Had my surgery like 3 days after the injury. Got transferred down to U of M and did 4 months plus those 11 days at U of M.
Dang. At least he was at U of M. I mean, best.
Yeah. Which isn't so like, not so like, dude, these days, bro, they're churning and burning them out. Like, bro, if you go to U of M right now, one of the best spinal cord in the state, especially, you go there, you get 2 weeks for rehab, and then they kick you out.
Damn. Yeah,
2 weeks, bro.
I was at Mary Free Bed in Grand Rapids.
Okay,
and,
all right.
Like, dude, they were like superb, phenomenal. I mean, like,
yeah.
They wanna obviously they're friendly people. They're not trying to be your friend, but they are very friendly. You know what I mean? But it's like you have a job to do, and like I'll never forget that first morning I woke up and she's like, so this nurse comes over to me. She's like, "Good morning, welcome to boot camp, or first day of boot camp, or something like that." And I was like, "What?" Sure enough, yeah. They're like, "Come on, get up. You're gonna get up. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do your bowel routine. You're gonna start this." I'm like,
bowel routine.
Yeah, so they get you on like all this program and shit. It's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
it's like boot camp for paraplegics or quadriplegics.
Yeah.
I just remember being so mad because my back hurts so bad, and I'm just like, is it always gonna fucking hurt this bad? And they're like, probably. I'm like, well, fuck, man. Like,
I mean, that's kind of what like I was dealing with, because when I first dove, well, when I got my they did the X-rays, I was so swollen in my neck they couldn't do surgery that night. So they waited. They wanted swelling to go down Saturday and Sunday and do it early Monday morning. When the X-rays came back that night, I like faintly remember, because I remember I was so doped up. Like But I remember them talking to my mom and dad, and they're like, all right, yeah, so he's got 2 breaks, one in his like, and I didn't know any of the vertebrae or anything, but they're like, right here, blah blah, and then he's got another one in the back, and I just remember being like, oh, I'm fucked, like that was that. And then weekend went by, which was the worst weekend of my life, like just being doped up and like on a tilt table, so no pressure sores, and like staring at the ceiling, like just in the dark, couldn't sleep because every time I went with that Dilaudid, every time I went to sleep, I felt like I was in the back. I felt like I was in the back of a box truck. Every time I closed my eyes, I'd be in the back of a box truck or something, and it'd be like empty. And I'm like, oh, and I'm walking. And I'm like, huh? And then it's like a giant came and grabbed the thing and just shook it up. And I'm like, and it's all blood everywhere. Oh, dude, it was all so violent. Every time I went to close my eyes.
Bro, they had me on fentanyl when I was passed out. I was in a coma for 2 weeks. Yeah,
I told them no fentanyl. I was like, I don't want fentanyl.
Dude, I was like slithering to other people's bubbles, and we were playing video games together, and it was kind of cool. I was in this crazy little world, but it was like, at the same time, you don't realize that you're doped up. I was doped up for 2 weeks in an induced coma, and almost dying, losing my life. But in my mind, I'm just like flying around and floating around. And
How do you, when you dream now? When you dream now, are you in a wheelchair or able-bodied?
It's mostly just able-bodied. Like,
really,
a lot of people come up, like in my dreams, they'll be like, "Oh man, like, see, I knew you would start walking again," or something like that. They would say something about it, and I'd be like, "You know what? I'm supposed to be in a wheelchair, huh?" I'm like, "What's going on here?"
And then when you wake up, because like I got into like that was how it started with me, and then I started like catching on, and I started getting into like lucid dreaming. And
that's when I don't know. It'll just be brief, and then I'll wake up and I'll remember a little bit of it. You know what I mean? Like,
I really like.
I could have lived the whole damn life in that dream, but I only remember a little part of it, and then I wake up.
Yeah, no, I always try to like I'm not fucking like noting them down, but I always try to like think about them right when I wake up and like go, and because I like getting in the dream. I don't like dreaming being able-bodied and not knowing I'm in a dream. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I like dreaming able-bodied and then catching myself in that dream and like getting that like amount of time to finagle. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm not like, oh wow, this guy's some crazy lucid dreamer who can get in his dream. I don't. But when you said someone's like, you're supposed to be in a wheelchair, those things in my dreams are triggers that help me like snap back into like lucidity.
How long? You know what I mean? Let me ask you this: how long have you been in? When was wheelchair? Your injury? Yeah.
June 16th, 2017. So
okay,
7 years, almost 7. It was 6 years this past year.
Yep. All right. Well, then let me ask you this: if you could go back to that day and not do that, not jump in that lake, and go about your life, then would you do that, or would you stay where you're at now?
I mean, like, first thing, and I just want to say this: like me and Rick talked before this, and he was like rattling off questions. Yeah, Tad before, and he was rattling off like, yeah, I'm going to ask you these general questions. He gave me the first one. Was going off in the second one. I was like, no, I don't want to know because I like that kind of element of surprise. And that was a great question.
Obviously, he hasn't seen the show before.
Because when I got ACDC. I got OCD, bro. So or ADD. So when I go through that shit, I'm like, bam, ADHD, yeah. What did I say? ADD.
ACDC?
Oh yeah. I said ACDC, but I was joking. Okay. ADD, yeah, whatever. Yeah. I take Adderall, probably not for the right reasons. Anyway, I go through there and I like skim through. It was like, fuck yeah, I'll do this shit, you know.
Right.
But anyway, right off the rip, you asked me that question. Hands down, going back.
You're going back.
Hands down. I'm going back, not making that jump.
Well, it all depends on what life you had before that too. You know what I mean? Because
and my life was
different.
I had a business, bro. I had a pizza business that I owned. Me and Bachelor of that party. We owned it together. I mean, I wasn't making
fucking able-bodied than you can in a wheelchair. That's for damn sure.
You know, and like we were, you know, and but don't get me wrong, like we wanted out of that business. I got him into that business. We did well. And it was like, bro, it was like a 2-year
move on and
plan.
Do something different, move up.
Yeah, and so it was like, man, but we were doing all right, and it was like I didn't really know what I wanted to do next, and he had a job, so like he wasn't really pressing me to get out, and I wasn't really like digging to get out either. But he's like, whenever you want out, we can do it, and I was just kind of one of those things where I'm like, but man, I was working my ass off, and then I ended up buying like a sports collection to like kind of help like help with some of the money so I could spend more time at home and do a little buying and selling.
Right.
Spend time with my girlfriend because I was working
so you're
like
trying to get into
30 hours
the
a week.
buying and selling of rare sports memorabilia. Right
I
before
just
we
wanted
went
my
live, I
hands.
seen a cool little holographic Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
I think it was. That
I
thing was
mean,
dope.
my dad's been a collector. I've always enjoyed collecting, and yeah, I mean that was it was definitely something that I put a lot of money into at the time to kind of circumvent the lack of me not being at home, spending time with my girl, and I was able to do that, which was nice. So,
Right.
but it's still like, it was a lot, man. I mean, now I'm in more debt because I took out a loan to get this collection because I bought like a huge collection.
I know
Like
one of your
huge.
problems. I can tell you right now, an easy way to fix it. You want to know what it is?
Yeah.
You're a Michigan State
Love that.
fan. Stop being a Michigan
oh.
State fan. It's a losing
I was
team.
gonna say,
It's a losing team, bro. U of M all the way. Go Blue.
Amen, man. I mean, you know what? I'm one of those guys. I mean, if I could
I'm
turn
sorry,
that camera a
State
little more,
guys. PJ Hager was
I
a
got a
State guy,
degree.
too,
I got
but-
a degree from U of M right over there, bro.
Oh, nice. Well,
Right
congratulations
there.
on that.
Yeah, but I spent all my time in East Lansing.
Yeah.
All my time in East Lansing. So
Bro,
I'm
like a lot of people think like because of the propaganda or whatever, they think like U of M is just some kind of like crazy town or whatever with a bunch of crazy people that are all like crazed up alcoholic nut jobs.
liberal. They're like, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that's
but
like
then you go to like East Lansing and it's literally like the ghetto. It's just like ghetto
They are-
everywhere. Ghetto as fuck.
I know. Yeah,
I
bro.
grew up
Yeah,
in the
you
ghetto.
go
I'm
to,
sorry, but this is an adult
yeah,
show.
no.
Just
If you
kids
go to
along,
a party
sorry,
if you go to a party in Ann Arbor, a frat house in Ann Arbor, it's upscale.
yeah,
You go to a frat house on Cedar Street in East Lansing,
yep,
bro. You're fucking.
bro.
You
You're
might
back
get
in
in a
Jackson.
fight.
You're back in Jackson.
You might have a
Michigan,
threesome. You might,
on Ridge Block,
you might go to jail.
It's
you
crazy.
might die. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of volatility.
It's a lot more
going on there.
dangerous, I would say. East
Yeah,
Lansing,
yeah,
MSU
yeah,
is a lot
yeah.
more
Oh,
of a
it's-
dangerous area than U of M would
Absolutely, 100%, bro. I totally agree. I think
That's
that's why I
crazy.
liked it.
be. Yeah,
Lived on the edge, man.
heckin' yeah.
Been
Living
in
on
that-
the edge.
Been in that drunk tank up there, that East
Oh,
Lansing drunk
shoot.
tank, many a time, bro. Many a time.
Let me ask you this.
Goddamn.
Next question: dating/married, before and after. Tell us
Love
about that.
Another great question, man. So, I was with my girlfriend. I started dating my girlfriend at 22. She was 19, and we were together all the way up until my injury. And I mean, we were together through my injury. And I at the time of the injury, it was like the funny thing, she was best friends with my friend's soon-to-be wife.
Right.
So they were on their bachelor. Like we were doing the bachelor weekend. They were doing the bachelorette weekend, same weekend. So that Friday, up there, a couple hours into their bachelorette weekend, they get a call like, "Yo, Z is getting airlifted to the hospital. He fucked some shit up."
Right.
And it's like, so Tiff, she was very like, I mean, everyone supported me. Everyone, like at the time of the injury, she was like, I gave her every option. Hey, look, like I fucked up. I did this. This was my, like, I will not look at you any differently. I love you just the same if you were to walk away right now. Like,
Right.
like I'm sorry that I did this, and I'm sorry that this has happened, and all me.
That was the first thing I was
Walk
worried about
away.
too. I was like, oh gosh, she's gonna leave me.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, but I was okay with that because at that time I was like, she doesn't deserve this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I felt
it's
like
a lot of work, man.
Okay.
Especially
Yeah.
when you
And
first
I was
start
like,
out.
yeah. And then she's like, "Oh, you're stupid," gives me that. Like for the first week, it was just like that, like, come on, don't. And I'm like, all right. And then I accepted she was staying. It's all good. We built on that. That first year, and, you get a lot of, because she was my caretaker or caregiver too. And a lot of people, there's a lot of, you don't want your wife or spouse to be your caregiver because trust me, it doesn't work out, and you look at the percentages, it doesn't. Like, it's true. It really, like the percentages. Listen.
Sometimes or numbers.
I know the
average,
percentages.
Average, yes. Okay.
Average,
the percentage
that's
of
what I'm
average
saying.
is yes, but
So the percentage, we're looking at the percentage.
possible. Yeah, it is
Absolutely,
possible.
100% possible. 100% possible. I know so many people who live like that and they're happy as hell.
Right.
All right. So that was what we were leaning on. We're like, man, fuck all these people trying to say that like we can't do this. Like, no, we're strong. We're good. You're staying with me.
I can hear Diana
we
Ross
got
in the
this.
background. We'll make
Yeah.
it work. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And so once I knew she was staying and it was like, all right, let's get to work. Let's do this. That first year, man, we were like, bro, I mean, we were close, and we weren't perfect going in. 8 years in, obviously you're like 8 years, man. Like
That's a
most
long
people are like,
time.
why aren't you married? Like why aren't you
Yeah.
married? And it's like, well, like we're both doing it. Like it's not like I want to marry her. She's gonna be my wife. I just why are you rushing me? Whatever. So that first year went, but bro, you and I both know, man. Like, after a trauma like this happens in your life, you kind of come like a big trauma, something like just game changing. I'm not talking like a loss of a grandma that you weren't close to, and it's like, oh, some trauma, and like everyone's sad to go to the
Right.
funeral, whatever. I'm talking a trauma that like flips your life upside down. And if you're with someone or with people that care about you, you don't just flip your life upside down. You flip their life upside down. If they love you and they care about you, you affect them a lot more. Not a lot more than it affects you, but you affect them a lot more than you think you do.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I didn't really realize,
You don't
in
realize
the beginning.
how many people revolve around your life that are like
Right,
that.
right.
You
Even
bring
though I was
around,
self-sustaining at that time, it wasn't like I needed people in my life, but I had people in my life, and I was, loved all the people in my life. I didn't realize like me doing this was going to affect that whole inner circle, like as much as it did.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm like, why are you guys upset? Like I'm the one who's like fucking fucked up now. Like why are you guys, But it took me like a year and a half, 2 years to like realize that my perspective on the things that were important to me had changed. Like I was all about like get money, get that paper, get that stack, get your house, get your shit, run multiple businesses. Let's go, baby.
Be the man.
Like
I'm
build
gonna show
empire.
you how to be
Yeah.
the man. How
Yeah,
to be the
yeah.
boss.
Like that was my
Yeah.
mentality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then after the injury, I'm like, man, I spent my whole 20s just working, man. You know how many times my friends would be like, bro, we're all going up here for the weekend. And I'm like, the weekend, man, it's 4th of July weekend. It's a huge, one of the biggest pizza weekends. I can't leave work, man.
He's like, I
I
gotta
own a
run
small
the
business.
business.
Yeah, man. Like I can't do that. Like it was, and year after year, man, we had that peddler open since 2014. So or 2012. So 6 years, like it was like boom, boom, boom.
Oh, hold
And
on,
after
listen.
2014, I bought the
You bought
collection.
the what?
Go ahead, man.
No, the
That
collection.
sports collection. That was like kind of what helped me get out of there a little bit.
Okay.
Go ahead, man.
No, I was just gonna say, not to keep you going because we could talk about
No,
this shit
man.
all day long.
I know.
You seem like
Well,
me.
anyway, no,
could
we
just,
ended up
we could spiral
breaking
off
up.
and then, yeah, like go
I
off
know.
to different
We ended up
covers.
breaking up. We ended up breaking up
I
a
do
couple
that
years
too.
ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we ended up breaking up a couple years ago. It was on me, and it was a lot to do with just, we were different people. She was great. Like our you're with someone for 8 years, and then you become a different person, and then you're kind of stuck with them, and we're both different. So it's like now you're kind of with a stranger, you know what I mean? And you're like trying to work it out.
Well, you know that it's not. You feel that spark's gone. You feel that the connection's pretty much not there anymore, and you're just like, we're wasting our time here. The energies are both like butting heads, and you know that it's over. You just now you have to figure out who's gonna pull the trigger.
It took me like a year to like kind of understand that it was gonna be over, and then I used like I know I'm ashamed to say this, but I used like the better part of that year, kind of knowing that it was over, to like grieve my dogs that were gonna be taken away, because I knew that was only the smartest thing. We had 2 dogs together. She was gonna be leaving, and she was my caregiver, so I need to like think about what does she do for me that I'm gonna need to do for myself when she does go.
Right.
Like, so I kind of like used the better part of that year to like kind of get myself ready to break up with her, if that means any like, I don't know, like, not that things were getting, I don't know, it was just one of those things.
It's almost
man.
like when I had to self-cast for the first time, and I was like, man, they were like doing it for me, and I'm just like, oh god, this is great, but they're like, you're gonna have to do it. And I'm like, yourself, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, give me like a week, give me 1 week, and then I'll do it. And they're like, okay, 7 days, and they would count down every day to get myself ready. So it's like you got to mentally prepare for yourself for that.
What was it about Captain? Because I mean, you got your hands and shit. My shit, I
when you think about them, just
I know,
being a
I couldn't
male,
see it.
you got to take and put it in the, and then
I know. I did a video on it. I did a TikTok video on doing it, but obviously I didn't show my.
Did you get a lot of views on that?
Bro, I had a lot of people comment and be like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
And because I'd be like, yeah, Kath, and I'd do this.
Right. Oh, that's great.
Pull it out the sheath, and it's like this long, and they're like, and then I'm like, and they're like, and all the dudes are like, no.
Well, we got a few more to get through. I want to get through these before we run out of time. Even though we started kind of late today.
Yeah, that's all good, man.
We're not doing, like I said,
Talk
we're
to you
not
all
going
night,
live
man.
on YouTube, but we are recording. So I'm just gonna take the record and put it on there. The record, like we're
Yeah, I
making.
told him about this too, a little prereq. I told him that this
I mean,
could
we've
happen.
had 21, 22 viewers. I mean, you are right now kind of the
Oh,
highest.
yeah?
I think you're the highest viewed Wheelchair Wednesday guy in
Hey,
here for the live.
I
so
love
far.
that,
I've never
man.
seen
Let's go.
22 before.
GriilaWar Gaming on TikTok and Facebook Gaming.
I'm
Let's
gonna give you
go.
one of these.
Be live right after this.
Yep, he's gonna be live right after this.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of pet peeves, what's your biggest pet peeve about being in a wheelchair?
Biggest pet peeve. Okay. All right. So when I was in the hospital, I had a para, one of your kind, come in.
One
my
of my
room.
kind. How about?
Come and wheel into my room. And
Wheel
wow,
on
what a
up.
great guy. What a really good guy. I was in a bad place, but he was telling me you know, I was totally open because he did open me up. But he said you know, he told me that all these things that I wouldn't be able to do. Obviously, I was like, yeah, fuck you, you're a para, dude. You don't know.
Right.
Whatever. Like that just was my mentality in the hospital. Like, don't bring paras in here. And he said, I'll be honest, once you get like on your own and doing your thing, he's like, one of the things that's going to be the biggest frustration for you is telling people what to do the way you want it done. And
Right.
and I was like, yeah, telling people what you want done.
What was this guy's name?
Steve Chapman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Steve Chapman.
I had a
Remember
guy
that
talk
shit.
to me, and his name was Pierre. He was from France, but he spoke English, and he was pretty cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was he? Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
He was.
But I mean,
he was a quadriplegic. Yeah, and he was.
oh yeah, yeah.
manual
But tell me,
training
when you
for-
see a quadriplegic like doing shit, like, aren't you like? Doesn't that amp you up?
I mean, yeah. Well, not amp me up. I mean, it makes me realize that I could have had it worse.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And that's always just a band-aid, right? Like that's always just a band-aid thing. So anyway, back to this pet peeve thing. So he said, you know, telling people what to do, and I was like, man, I talk, and you talk to any of my friends about telling a story, and I detail that fucker right down to the like
shoes
what the
everybody's
smell of
wearing
that.
and how they had it
Yeah,
tied,
exactly.
Right.
I was like, if that's the biggest problem I'm facing, trust me, I won't. But man, I'm telling
See,
you,
a lot of people underutilize their time on Wheelchair Wednesday, but you are definitely one of those who does not. Let me put it
hey
that
man,
way.
I'm out here, bro. I'm out here.
That's good, though.
These kind of things are easy, man. I love this shit. I love talking about this stuff and kind of spread knowledge. But no, I you know, I'm like, hey man, I can direct. Trust me, this is what I do. Like I'm good about that. But you don't realize that, you know, if you're teaching something that someone doesn't do regularly, or you don't do regularly, you know, like making a pizza, let's say. I learned to make a pizza. You know, I got to
used to
teach
make
someone to make a
pizzas.
pizza. Right. I teach them to make a pizza by showing them, right? And talking and directing them like that. So it's like all that. When you have to tell someone to do something very simple that is a day-to-day thing that's like normal that you never have to describe to someone, like, hey, put this up on the shelf next to that, and they just like throw it on the shelf, and you're like,
oh yeah. How did you
Why would
trying
you
to
put it
describe
there?
how you were like?
Why
you have
would
it in
you
your mind
put
how
it
you're
there?
gonna do it, right?
Yeah,
Like I would just do this. Okay, so you're gonna take that, you're
like,
gonna put it right in
it
between
makes-
those two things. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes no sense to put it there. Why would you put it there? And then you're like, no, up one. And then they're like, and like, look at you like you're a psychopath. And you're like, that makes sense. I don't know why you're looking at me like that. So that is like one of the big things, because you're like, hey, can you just coil that up for me and throw it in that box? And they're like, throw it in the box. And you're like,
well, that's not really a coil up, but okay.
and then
Gets
how
all
much
tangled out.
do you go? Like, how far do you go to be like, not like that, bitch? Oh wait, sorry, you're doing me a favor.
No,
you know what I
gotta
mean?
be
Like it's like,
No, I'm
I
just
know,
kidding.
and like that's been my biggest thing, is like kind of knowing like when and where to like pick and choose my like, oh god, like.
Bro, while we're on this topic, I just want to say this. Shout out to my caregiver who helped me get this thing around today. He came and helped me out and shit. So shout out to caregiver Dustin. He's dope as fuck. Good caregivers are hard to find. And
Dustin? Dustin or
yeah,
Destin?
Dustin.
Dustin, hell yeah! Shout out to Dustin. You're right
when
about
you're
that.
like you're saying, when you want shit done and you're like, okay, I need it done like this, it takes a person that's gonna be like, okay, that can take direction very well. You know what I mean? And like, he used to work with my grandpa, and my grandpa was
man.
like, you know what, the dude can do what I asked him to do. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's good. So I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, dude.
he's
I
worked
got like two buddies that are. I mean, I got three like best friends, but two of them, one's in Chicago, and one's down in Berkeley. or actually he's in Ortonville now, so he's a little closer. But he is the bachelor, the one that I brought. We're obviously still best friends to this day.
Right.
And he's the type of guy that you give. I'll be like, yo, this is what I have. This is what I want done. That would be the only instruction I could give him. Because if I were to tell him how I wanted it done, he'll be like,
And he won't do it in none of your ways, right?
He will but he'll do it very well his way. It'll be very organized. It won't be like efficient for what I want, but I'll leave, come back, and it's like, and I'm like, wow, it looks great. Yeah. He's like, huh? And I got this. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not. And then I have another friend who is like, yo, I need this done right here. And I break it down, and I can like literally let him loose. He does it to the T exactly how I want. And if he has a question about it, he asks me. Mike Crane, shout out Mike Crane.
Shout out Mike Crane.
Hey, yo, and Kyle Muxler, I love you too, bro. You don't, even though I know you don't have,
up,
I know you don't have Facebook, but yo, shout out Kyle Muxler. Piece of shit.
Real quick on this one, what is something you wish you could do that you can no longer do? One thing.
Oh man, I used to run, man. And that really
I've heard that
I haven't been able to find something that gets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I hated running. But it was the best cardio that I could get, and I don't know if you feel the same about this, but
there's a feeling that you get after you get a good run.
You get a high that dopamine.
When I was younger. Yeah, it's like your blood's pumping.
But I work out and shit. I stay in shape, and I do all that shit. So it's like I've yet to find something that I get on a hand bike, and I'm doing this, 20 minutes, man. My shoulders and arms get tired before I start gassing out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've yet to find something that gets my respiratory going. Whereas when I'm doing stuff, I do shit and my muscles get tired before I
before you get
start
winded.
Yeah, and I miss that gassing.
I keep trying to figure out how to get rid of my turkey neck, and I'm like, how am I supposed to do that when I can't go out and run? Because I used to walk
I found
a lot.
diet. Yeah. I think diet is huge, bro. Diet is huge with our injury, man.
Yeah, new year, new me, man. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna I'm stopped drinking soda. That's
I did that when I was 17, and that was a huge thing. Soda and fast food.
I tried that for a month or whatever, but it didn't last.
Guys, you called it soda, bro. What are you from the South or something? I call it. So I lived in Florida for a year. I picked it up.
Pop. A lot of people call it soda, but soda pop.
Yeah.
Nobody puts them two together though, like soda and pop. It's rare.
Yeah, right.
That's
soda pop.
old
Yeah.
school shit.
If someone says soda pop to me, they better be 79 and.
Right. This is Grandpa's friend.
Yeah.
No, so that's what it would be though, is running. You'd like to go back and just
or something that could get my that, because I don't sweat anymore, man. I don't sweat at all, and I used to be Swamp
I'm glad you brought that up because
I've
thought about that. I've been thinking about that. No matter how many armbands I do or whatever, I'll gas out from the this before I'm
my arms would be ready to fall off before I'm I'm never running out of energy.
I think it's
because
something
I can't
about
breathe.
our lung function, maybe. The reason that our fucking spinal cord, because spinal cord injuries are fairly new to human medicine.
Yeah.
So
no,
you're
you're
learning
right.
shit every day.
Yeah.
What about pain? Are you in any pain?
No, I'm not. And just to go back to when I broke my neck, I had a fracture in the front and a fracture in the back. They did the front surgery, and there was the we're going to do the front. You have a fracture in the front, you have a fracture in the back. We're going to do this front surgery. And once we get in there, we're going to hope that, that back isn't that bad. If it is that bad, we're going to fix it in this all one surgery, front and back. If it's not that bad, we're going to just do the front and hopefully that'll stabilize and your back will be fine.
Right.
I was like, okay, sure. Wake up from the surgery. Did we do both? Nope, we did the one. And we think that that's going to be enough. Man, the back of my fucking neck, dude, was just killing, man. Painkillers. Go down to U of M. Man, I couldn't even get to therapy. I could barely they're doing shit. I'm oh man. And they're telling me wow, you're a quadriplegic? Look at your function. You're great. And I'm I go 2 weeks of therapy, just pain. And in my mind, I'm thinking hey man, this is I broke my neck. My neck's going to be in pain.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was. But a couple weeks in, man, I'm doing regular my therapy, the minimum I could do, just working on my tricep.
You had to wear a collar, didn't you?
Yeah,
I had a collar too. I think I broke my neck in a certain place, but it ended up healing.
They probably wanted to just stabilize that whole fucking thing. Yeah, dude. But I remember just going through some baseline stuff a couple weeks in. And they're you could do 10 of these before. And now you're like, I get to like 3 and I'm like, and they're like, oh, they called the other therapist over. They're like, look, they're like, Matt, come on, just. And I was like, I couldn't. And they're like, I don't like that. No, we need it. So you sent me into x-rays. That fracture had shifted. So I had to go in for another immediate surgery on the back.
Oh, no.
And they were like, this is going to be a little more intense than the first surgery. And I'm like, I don't remember the first surgery, but I know it wasn't that bad. But sure, well, like we got to cut muscle to get in here. So it's going to be a little much more of a recovery. Man, I got, they did the surgery. I woke up. I was on the floor, like the acute care for like 4 days. And I remember, like, as it was healing, I was like, oh, and they'd come in. What's your pain scale? 1 to 10. And I was like, 10. Next day, what's your pain? 1 to 10. And then, like, by the 4th day, like, what's your pain scale? I'm like, I don't know. Not really. I don't know. 0?
It's a fucking 10.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I mean, I feel pretty good. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm fine. I'm good.
Oh.
And that was it. Bro, I got that one done. And man, the pain went away. I don't get nerve pain.
If you could get the paraplegic hand function, such as I have, but you had to endure my pain that I do every day. I have 2 stabilization bars on my back, and it's like, dude, every day I wake up to the time I go to bed.
So it's pain or nerve pain?
Sounds
like that's pain, not nerve pain.
There's pain and nerve pain. The nerve pain shoots in and out. But the pain never goes away, bro. It always stays with me, and like, depending on how hydrated I am or whatever, you know what I mean, like medicated or whatever. Oof. Like it's normally average at like a 3 to 4, and like bad days it's like 7, 8. I don't even want to move. Like I gotta lay there and I gotta swallow pain pills and just sit there. You
Would
know
I get both? I'd get both hands.
Yeah.
You tell me I'd get both hands.
Yeah, both hands, arms stronger than an ox. Be able to watch this. Look at this.
Hi, bro.
You can do that too, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, we all got the shoulders then.
Yeah.
But would you do it or
yeah,
not? That's a question.
I know. That is a very, very good question. God, I never like.
I don't ask that to normal people, but you brought that up, and I was like, I wonder if you would switch.
Man.
Because you know what? I don't think I would. If I had to go to you with no pain, I wouldn't do it.
Right, yeah. Go to me with no pain. Yeah, because it's almost like, God, I'd almost need to like know like what, like how much medication you take to kind of subside that pain, like that's what I'm kind of thinking, like what I need. Am I like doped up all the time?
I'm still getting 3 to 4? 3 times a day.
Oh man,
you're talking about probably 2,400 a day.
2,400. What about you taking anything for the like the pain or just that gabapentin?
No. I don't take any narcotics.
Like narco or any bullshit like that.
No, fuck that shit.
And so you're talking standard. That's a good question, bro. God, man, I just know if I had one working hand, I know in my mind I could be 100% completely independent.
Yeah.
Like right now, the thing that like, I live alone, but my parents, like, I'm so fucking lucky. Like I got this house built by a dude who was in a wheelchair in 1980, like had someone build a house for him. And obviously before ADA, so there's ramps and shit that are a little steeper, but there's a elevator lift, there's on the stairs, there's like wide hallways, wide closets, like rolling everything, a rolling shower. I mean, unbelievable. And I think about like what it would take for me to like be completely independent. Like if all my care was gone, could I sustain? And it's the bowel program that like always hangs me up every time.
No, I'd be screwed.
I just cannot never see myself.
Yeah,
I just can't see right when I got injured, I was like in the hospital bed looking up this quadriplegic on YouTube showing how to do a bowel program in bed, and like he blurred out everything. But dude, he had this tool.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Bro, he put this suppository in like in bed with a mirror and like all this shit while he's like narrating all this shit, and I'm like, there's no way. And then he gets in his chair and goes over the toilet. I'm like, how do you know? That's the one thing that I just can't see myself ever being able to do on my own. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. And my bowel program's regular. I'm it's not like I want to be talking about shit this whole time, but like dude, it's not as though that's like the huge problem in my life. Like it's every other day.
Being in a chair is once you get paralyzed, like shit is a part of your life now, and it's going to be a part of your life, and people are going to have to deal with it, and that's just what it is.
They're asking me like, well, how regular are you? I'm like, I don't know. Well, did you like poop every morning or like? I'm like,
Like, I don't fucking know. I pooped when I had to poop.
I shit when I need to shit, man.
Right.
Like, well, there's people who poop in them. I'm like, I know there are. I had weird friends that were like, every morning,
yeah.
wake up, gotta poop. And
Gotta
I'm like,
poop.
I was never like that. I just shit when I had to shit, man. I don't know. Now you're asking me when the fuck I do shit, and if that's, I don't know.
You think about it, you don't really
fill
think
my
about
belly.
it.
I fucking shit when I have to shit, man. I don't know. So yeah, that's definitely something right there.
Because
that
we're
would
running
make
low
me,
on time.
I know. Go ahead.
I'm gonna give you 2 more questions.
Oh, that.
What helped you the most after your injury?
What helped me the most after the injury?
Yeah.
What helped me the most after the injury? Well, I know getting this house was like a really big thing. Like having my own space, because in my mind when I got injured, I was like, I was living with my girlfriend. We were renting out on our own, doing our thing, you know. And I just remembered in my mind being like, I'm gonna, like, I don't know how this is gonna work. Like, I can't afford a house. I don't know how I'm gonna afford this rent anymore. You know, I don't know. Are we gonna have to move in with my parents? You know, we ended up getting this house, and you know, God, even all my friends today, like even to this day, when I talk to people, and we did a huge fundraiser right when the accident happened, and we raised like 100K.
Nice.
And I was able to put a down payment on this house. And I would never have been able to afford this house if it wasn't for that fundraiser. So that fundraiser single-handedly like kind of put me in a position to where I like was able to feel like confident and comfortable and see a life for myself. If I was still at my parents in their spare bedroom, like being taken care of by them, bro, I see myself on like a,
Downward.
like I put myself in that vision.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it sounds like kind of materialistic to be like the house did it. But
well,
you know, as I think
about it's getting your own independence back and feeling like you know you have your own private space. I mean, it's an important thing.
And that was a big thing with me and my girlfriend too, you know, like having our own space, obviously, right? Like we were always together on our own, and then it's like this happens and now everyone's like, how's Matt doing? Is Matt okay? Is Matt doing this? Is Matt doing that? Is he getting enough food? Does he need food? Is he get, you know, and it's like it just got to this point where it was like, all right, we don't need all the hands in the kitchen, you know, too many cooks in the kitchen. But having the space, get the fuck out. But yeah, it was having the space was a huge thing, because I have a hard time talking to spinal cord injuries and telling them about my story, and then them being like, well, I just don't know how I'm gonna work and get it. I'm gonna have to move back with my parents, and like my dad's a shithead. How am I supposed to do that? And I'm thinking like,
man, the thing is, it sucks. Some people, it just fucking sucks, and they don't have any options. But the thing is like, oh man, it's almost like you want to tell them like, look, man, you're gonna have to change this and make it what you need to make it.
You know, and I know, man. The hardest part about this whole injury is not the physical part of it, bro.
No,
it's like
it's definitely mental. It's a mental war, man. You're playing with yourself
and
in
everyone,
your head.
Man, dude, people talk to me. They're like, "Yo, man, what would you do to like be able to?" Man, I want to be able to walk again. I'm like, walk? Like, man, I would give up a lot more to get like 2 fingers working.
Let me get my ab function. For me, it's my abs.
Yeah.
I miss my abs. Like if I fell on the floor right now, I can't get myself back up. Like that's I'm
so
24 hours.
So your whole, I mean, you're at chest level down, right?
I'm right here. Like, literally right here.
So
down.
that's where I'm at. But obviously my arms are fucked with. So dude, and that sucks, man. I always look like when I see like a T12 and they're like, you know, bitching about shit, and they're young, and they're like, it's like, oh,
they
man.
got, dude, big old nice ab muscles and fucking still
Six
got
pack.
the fucking rip.
I'm like, bro, you got motherfuckers
right?
doing pull-ups.
I know, man.
I'm like,
bro.
You got the whole life.
He's got the chair. He's got a seat built into him while he's doing the pull-ups
bro.
and shit.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, what the fuck, man? You're
shit.
whining and crying, man. Yeah, it must be nice.
That's funny.
Must be nice, yeah.
By the way, what size t-shirt you wear?
Large.
Large? Nice.
Yeah.
I got Wheelchair Mafia t-shirts on sale that I'm giving to my special guest. All Wheelchair Wednesday.
I'll pay for it, man. I support, dude. I support.
If you guys want, I'll give you guys a discount. Hit me up. That's only until Christmas, and then we're going back up.
Oh yeah. You hashtag GriilaWar Gaming on that purchase, and you get 10% off.
10% off. Boom.
Oh, yeah.
GriilaWar Gaming. All right, check this out. Last question of the day. Which I think is one of the most important things. This is the whole reason why I do this little show.
Love that, dude. Bring it on me, baby.
What would be the most important piece of advice you could give to somebody who's newly injured?
Well, I mean, I think I have to like narrow it down to like a newly, because I mean, I'd give different advice to a newly quad or a newly para. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna just speak on a newly quad, a newly injured quad.
Okay.
Because honestly, if I was talking to a para newly injured, don't get me wrong, my demeanor would be a little different. I would be a lot more like, bro, listen, you got
look
this,
at
and
what
kind
I
of
got.
like,
Look what you got. You know what I mean?
bro,
Like,
look
it's
what
gonna
I'm
be
doing.
fine. Right,
6 years in, you're gonna be fine. You know, with quads, you got to kind of like show them, like, let them know that it's not going to be easy. And I think that. So with the question, what is the biggest piece of advice I would give a newly injured quad? Man, god damn, so many variables. Like, do they have a good support system? Do they like I don't know, is there any family around, like whatever? But I would
Well, see, it
say
doesn't
I
matter.
would
That's what
have
I
to
mean. You
say,
have to just have that one. You got like 5 minutes, and
yeah,
you got to
yeah,
give
I
me your
know, I
best
know, I
piece of advice. You know what I
know.
mean?
Man, just don't underestimate what your body and brain are capable of doing, because it is really magnificent, the power of, people, that whole old, bullshit about, oh yeah, people only use 10% of their brain. That's false. They use all of their brain, just some of it's active at other times. But your brain is
Right.
so fucking powerful. Your brain and your body are so fucking powerful, and the ability to uh, not only like adapt your brain to certain things, but adapt your body to certain things. I mean, you train your body to do certain things. You always want to go back to your muscle memory of like grabbing something. Well, I say like, like, let's say there's something that rolls in front of you and you try to kick it in your mind. You can't, but
Yeah,
you, like, in your head, you think about it.
I've
For
done
me,
that before. Like I'm
I was
Professor
gonna
X
say
from
like,
X-Men.
yeah, right. Yeah, you're like, fuck, man, goddamn, with your mind, like, I can move it, I can move it.
Dude,
But
every
like,
wheelchair guy's had that. It's like
I know,
thought, like I can do
I
this.
know. Yeah, that frustration.
Yeah.
But like when like early on, it was like going to grab something like a fork. You want to grab it like a normal, like you would grab a fork. I've been doing it for 30 years or whatever, 25 years. They say when I started using a fork, like, you want to grab it like that, but you don't. It's muscle memory to grab it like that. You don't grab it like that anymore. Like, you got to grab it differently. You need to attack it differently.
So what would the
And your
advice be?
body, the advice would be is to be patient with your
No,
brain and your
yeah, your
body,
body. Okay, yeah,
and
yeah.
understand that shit will adapt if you give it time and you like work at it. A lot of people think like this injury happens and it's like, oh fuck, throw in the towel. But like, man, if you work, your body will adapt to you.
Right.
Your body will do what you want it to do if you work at it. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, and it's not really their fault, but it's more the care. They don't get the knowledge, the education of after their injury. Most people, bro, they get injured, and then they go into they get the surgery, they get stable, they're in the hospital for a week, and then they're like, all right, go on, here you go, see ya. And then they're back in the hospital a week later with pressure, or a couple weeks later with pressure sores, or
Yeah,
like
man, I
UTI.
feel bad
There's
about
no
those
like,
people. I'm like,
there's
shit,
no
what the
care
hell?
there, and there's none of that. And I think understanding your injury and understanding the power of your body and what it can, like, uh, withstand is very important. So I would say, be a sponge, learn as much as you can about your injury. Don't always listen to doctors, and always advocate for yourself.
Yep, I like
Always,
that. Yep,
always
absolutely.
advocate. So cliche, but like, man, you have to. And don't shy out on how strong you can, like, what you can do with your body. Man, I've had shit, man. I could literally tell you like when my dad's gonna call me, bro. Like, we got this ESP shit going on, man. I'll be like, I
Damn,
haven't heard
that's a
from
whole
my
nother
dad.
podcast talking
I'd
about
be like,
that.
man, I haven't
Right.
heard from my dad in a
What's in
minute,
this
man. He
box?
should have been calling by now. And then like within 10 minutes, man, I get a call. I'm like, motherfucker. Like that's, but that's just, and I'm not saying that that's like, oh yeah, it's me telling but there is that energy. I'm a firm believer of that. I'm not a religious person, but there's definitely, I mean, your brain send off energy. There's obviously there's studies shown that energy
Yeah,
does
it's
flow through
frequencies,
people.
man. Our bodies are
Yeah.
frequencies. Our molecules are
Yeah,
kept
man.
together by sound waves, pretty much. Is
Yep.
what he's getting to.
Yep.
It's true. I mean, look it up.
The body's
But
magnificent,
that's a
man.
whole nother. Yeah, that's a whole nother. Like we could
Yeah.
talk about that. I would.
I
I
love
want to talk about
yeah,
that. I feel
yeah,
like
I
me
could
and you
do
were
it,
gonna
yeah,
have
no.
other discussions.
Yeah, I'd love to, bro.
I
Fucking
would love
invite
to
me
see
back.
you and Maldito on together.
I'd
I
love
would just,
that, man.
I would
I'd
just
love to
shut
meet
up and
that
y'all could go back
motherfucker. Yeah.
and forth.
I would love that, dude. I would
Shout
love
out
that, man. I
Maldito.
enjoyed his. Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Shout out.
But no,
And his
so
wife.
yeah, man. Like I said, I wish we had more time. YouTube, it wasn't
Oh,
working
yeah.
today. We're gonna go ahead and get this all wrapped up and put on YouTube. All of your links and stuff that you want me to share for people, go ahead and send me after this. We'll put it directly on there. So if you're watching this afterwards, look in the description. All his stuff should be right there. Matt,
shout out Wheelchair Mafia, baby.
Wheelchair Mafia, that's right. Appreciate you, bro. Stick with me real quick, and then we'll talk to you in a second. Everybody else,
That was good, bro.
peace out. See you next time.
Much love, y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
Here on Wheelchair Wednesday.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Smooth, man. Bro, I could do this shit for hours, man. We could sit here and talk